Kind of About Music podcast.
Okay, it's all recording. Okay, so welcome to the Kind of About Music podcast. We have Mr. Tim Jacobs and Mr. Ollie Sears in no particular order.
But the best order, Big Tim first.
We've got a podcast with a lady called Simone Kay coming up, but we just thought we'd have a little catch up before then because we've all been doing some well, we haven't seen each other in a while, have we? You've been on tour with Mr. Albert Lee.
Indeed.
I know they said Albert Man then, but that's a different guy that we play for. Albert Lee. So you've been on tour with Albert Lee, and Tim's been finishing uni.
Getting drunk.
Trended 5 times this week, I think that's what you said, wasn't it?
New record, mate.
And I've been doing some gigs as well. So yeah, how was the tour with Albert Lee?
Mad, yeah, it was awesome, really good.
I was going to say, I was already going to go into inappropriate questions then, but
go for it. Straight in, do it.
No, I came and watched one of the gigs. It was incredible. It was really, really great gig. Brought my dad because it was his kind of 70th birthday present, and realised that Albert Lee's 73, isn't he? He's still playing that crazy country boy stuff. He's toned it down. He's toned the BPM down a little bit though.
Definitely. I think credit to him, but I'm quite glad he did that. I first listened to it, I was like, oh, I'm in trouble here.
Is it quite intense? Is it quite intense, the drumming of it then?
Yeah, I mean
there's a lot of train and stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot of chugging on the go.
If you move that stand, you'll be more comfortable because you're going to be looking this way anyway, aren't you?
Particularly at the end of that one, it's a bit of a free for all because it's the last song of the night.
Oh yeah.
Keeps,
goes a bit nuts.
We all just get a little sort of solo-y crazy madness.
The last night? The last night?
No, just the last on the end of Country Boy.
Oh yeah, that's a lot. I thought no, that's not the last song of the night, is it?
It's the last song of the gig before the encores.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I can't. It's so weird that encore's a thing. Like when we were on our tour, we were like, Tom was like, alright, I'm going to go off stage and come back on. So just when we finish the song, just make lots of noise, and we don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Stagecraft.
It is. I think for me, I think it's because if I go to a gig, if people don't do it, I know it's such a bullshit thing because you just have to treat it like the song 2 songs ago was actually the last song.
Yeah.
But you do just kind of go like, oh, they didn't play an encore. And you always get the last song, and when it's finished, if there hasn't been an official encore, then they're still going, one more song.
What's funny though is when you're doing a gig and there's like an encore on the set list and then just nobody asks for an encore. So.
No, they're the
How many gigs
best,
have you done like that, Tim?
I've done loads like that. That's the best. It's like, good night. All right then. Oh really? Oh okay. Sweet.
Like when you're going on your first date with a girl, you drop her off at the front door, and you're like, right, I'll be going now, and she goes, okay.
It's exactly the same.
Could do with a coffee. There's a shop just down the road. I think we're open till later.
How does that happen to you, Jim?
What's that? Never. Like, what's his name? Jonathan Edwards? No, it was a England rugby kick taker. There's going to be there's a joke about conversions, but.
Oh, okay.
No,
Wilkinson.
Jonathan Wilkinson. Yeah, I got
Johnny Wilkinson.
Convert like Johnny. Wilkinson.
Great effort. Yeah. I was going to say it never happens to me, but it's just because I don't go on dates in the first place.
Plus, they could probably get home on their own, can't they?
Damn right.
Anyway, so I met the keys player, JT.
Yep.
He was hilarious. Californian guy. My dad, I think they kind of hit it off pretty well. Like they were having a good laugh.
He's just so happy to see everyone. Yeah, man. He's a great dude. Killer player as well.
Yeah, and what's the name of the bass player?
Will McGregor.
Will. I think he was.
Yeah, he's a bit quiet. Still a lovely chap, but I think no one really kind of met the band that much. It was only a couple of times where some crazy people were like coming up the back and going, "Oh, we need you out the front for a photo and to sign this." And I've never signed anything before. Yeah. I'm like, you don't want my signature.
I signed a girl's boots the other day. I misheard her when she said it as well. She looked quite well. She was old enough, even though I was there with my girlfriend, and this girl come up and said, "Can you sign my boots, please?" How many you want now? But she literally wanted me to sign the boots. Okay. But yeah, same thing with Tom. Like the fans, like they came to the London gig, and then some of them came to the Bristol gig. I was like,
yeah.
And I missed signing her boots there, so I ended up signing her boots
with a T.
In Bristol. She tracked me down there.
What a strange person that really wanted your signature on her shoes. That's strange.
I think she's just a fan, Alan.
Okay, fair enough. But anyway, yeah. But so it meant we weren't spending a lot of time like out the front.
Yeah.
Like he every night he would finish and say, "Give us a couple of minutes. I'll be out around and signing autographs." And he was lovely to do that, considering, he's not a spring chicken and he's knackered by the time he gets to the end of gigs, but he's still...
A lot of those guys sell their autographs as well at the end of gigs, which is a bit gross.
That's the thing, yeah.
Well, adds like 300 or 400 quid onto the end of the gig,
true.
doesn't it?
Very true.
He mentions it anytime anyone comes along and with like a scratch plate. Are you being called or something? Was that
That's
me?
not me.
Was it?
Bam.
It's like a FaceTime call.
That is you. Is it your mum?
It's a random obscure family member. But I missed a video call. Right, airplane mode. Sorry about that.
Anyway. No, yeah.
Yeah, nothing.
But the weird thing is about fans like that they do that kind of, they want the autograph or not, and they come to see more than one gig and stuff. That is actually what pays the way for the tours, because if it was me or you, like, how often do we go to gigs? I mean,
Absolutely,
I know we work in it all the time, so it's not something that, I suppose if we didn't work in it, we would go to more gigs, but people like that, you kind of got to be grateful for it, really.
Well, that was one of the biggest lessons that I learned off of the guys, because this was my kind of first like tour, to officially call it a tour, not just you're doing 5 gigs in a week or a long weekend and you can call it a tour because it's more than one gig and you're still in the same van or something. It's actually like a tour.
Legitimate artist as well, not just kind of covers or anything like that. There's anything wrong with that, but it's always nice to have a CV name.
But the first time I've actually doing a lot of speaking to fans and things like that, like it takes a certain kind of person. I realise that you don't plan for it and you don't think about it at all, but it's not, I mean, there's worse problems to have, but you do get bombarded. I said this to you at the gig, like you just get bombarded with compliments and people coming up to you all the time. And I wasn't even the star guy, and neither was the rest of the band, but we'd always be people every night just and.
But there is 4 of you on stage, and it is very intimate in that sense. It's not like there's a big 8-piece band and people can't, like, they're looking, they can see you all night, like
absolutely,
you're right in the light.
And but I'm not saying there's any problem with it at all. It's amazing. Like, the support of the people they were incredible fans. But like, it's my first experience with like serial kind of
gig goers. Oh, we saw you in Manchester. We saw you in such
love you. I love what you do. And you never you never think about how you're supposed to deal with that, because it's a compliment. You're like, oh, sweet. But like 10 times a night for a month straight, after a while, you really have to be like, you have to take, as you said, take that reflective step back and go, because your body just wants to go, oh, thank you. Even though it is nice, and it's nice, it's just a bit weird after a while. That many people telling you you're really good. Yeah. I know that sounds weird and big-headed, but I'm not coming at it like that. It's great, but like, just you've never had that experience before, and that's one of the things that all of their band do so well. They're always so happy to see everyone all the time, but I think it's because they do know that there's like,
well, it's what pays.
These are the people that are
the fee,
have come to see it, and whereas you've done it for the last 20 days in a row, they haven't seen that. They've only seen tonight, and that's their only experience of it, and they just want to tell you that they appreciate it, which is great. When as soon as I do that, I think, wow, I'm a piece of shit. I can't believe so I was even thinking, yes, thank you. But
on the one that I did with Tom, when we did the London show, we only did a few dates, but the London show at Camden, so there's a section in the show where we go off stage, and later on Alex was doing melodica solos, and it was awesome. When the first one he wasn't, so we were kind of all stood at the back, and in the fans was Tom goes back up with Lydia to do a kind of duo song, and And these two blokes who later came to the Bristol show as well, were saying, "How are you getting on with that solo at the end of Love," which was the last song? And I was like, "All right, mate. I think I do fine with it. Like it's coming together." But like, I realised at that point, like, oh, these guys really know the songs. Like, this is pressure.
Shit.
And then on the third night in Bristol, it was only a short thing. It was only a few days, but yeah, they were like, again, part of you'd think, you cheeky fuck, but then the other part of it's like, all right, they're just really into the music. But they said, oh, you could tell you've done 3 in a row because you were a lot more comfortable tonight. And I was like,
I got a few
Thank
saying
you
that.
for the,
I came to see you on the second show and the 20th show, and you now look like you half know what you're doing.
Thanks.
Cheers, mate.
Muggle compliments. Is
But
amazing.
that says a lot of good. That speaks a lot of good things about Tom's stuff, because he's an up and coming sort of guy, and he's already got people that are like devout, knowing. Mine was daunting because I had people that were coming up to me and going, "I've literally been to see him since before you were born."
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I'm sorry. I can't help it that I'm this. How old are you? You make me sick. Stop. That's not my fault. I'm sorry.
I'm definitely not going to show that camera angle of the face that I just pulled. Let's drop that.
What a good day, Jim.
No, not at all. Not today, man.
Good shirt though.
Yeah,
strong t-shirt game.
It was my birthday the other day, and Mr. I don't know if you can see it properly, but Mr. Alex Lanyon gave me this as a birthday present.
Not ale, no. Looks sane. If you read it that way.
It's like 20 sizes too big for me as well.
Yeah, did Lanyon give you that?
I think it's just one that he couldn't get rid of when he was back in the days when he was Alex Lanyon, before he was doing his new project, Bow Cinema. Yeah. But he showed me some more of that stuff, and it's well good. He's got another Bow Cinema track that sounds like he's well into his Disney things, and it's a duet with the girl who was on the Tom Spate tour, Lydia, and it's almost like if Bruno Mars' new album had a Disney song on it. That makes sense.
Okay. I could
That makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah. No, that does make sense.
If Bruno Mars produced a new Disney song.
I can hear that in my head, because Bruno Mars did a live version of Under the Sea once.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
It was killer.
It's on Live Lounge or something. It's like an old. He's playing guitar and they just kind of break into it.
Yeah.
Nice.
I can get that. But that's. I didn't know he was a Disney kind of guy. That's cool.
Fucking Lanyon's crazy on the musicals. Like, he had, I'm driving the van,
I knew
and
it was
like
musicals,
20 minutes of Disney going on. Like, I was like, he's like, "Come on, Jim, I can't believe that you don't like Disney. You're the only musician I know that doesn't like Disney. Look, here, listen to it, turning it up." I'm like, dude, like, you need to get over that, man, because I'm gonna crash this fucking
That's not
van.
you, is it? Yeah, that's strange though, because I got like the other day, he gave us a lift to our mate Sam's like leaving do a couple of days ago, and just thought, I saw this, and I was going to put on Michael McDonald because I knew you were getting in the car, because I know how much you love Michael McDonald, but we were just listening to George Benson the whole time, so
yeah,
you must have just got him on a weird day.
We were in the van for a lot. I did like just 3 full days of driving, basically, which I don't mind. It's like almost prefer to drive when I'm in the van, because I get a bit bored, sometimes a bit travel sick or whatever. Like, if I look at my phone when I'm in the van for an extended period of time, it's like I spend the next hour just like,
yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah, I spent my time like just listening to podcasts, but just listening to them. I wasn't watching anything, because I'm the same.
Podcasts are great for that when you're in a car. Like, it's just because you're in a conversation, or because it's about like a particular like story or whatever. You can just get lost in it. Like, I'm very rarely put music on in a car now, because I'm either going to or from a gig, and it's kind of I'm almost like, I've had enough of listening to music in the car, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of why I started this as well, because it was the idea that for musicians who are driving around, when this goes on iTunes pretty soon, that should be in the next month or so, that it's something that you can kind of listen to and relate to if you're a musician, and kind of feel like you're in a conversation, and that can get you through a 2-hour, 3-hour trek home.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely the trek home. Normally the treks there would usually be, for me, it's the stuff I haven't learned.
Yeah, exactly.
Learning the tunes.
Just brushing up on structures. Yeah. Was that sounded like the voiceover on Cameo Candy? That's another one that Alex is addicted to, aren't they?
Yeah, they were dancing to that last night. Well, it wasn't even on, but they were doing the candy dance.
What's the candy dance?
Candy, it's like that
two-step
thing.
The jump. Oh, yeah.
whetting my appetite, but it's all right. It's like totally Alan Partridge. You're giving me a heart attack, but it's the kind I like. It's
I've said this before. I've not done Partridge, and that's not out of taste.
Oh, Partridge.
That's not out of taste. That's just being young and ignorant.
There was a period of time where anytime I turned up at a gig for a sound check, there'd just be Partridge quotes flying around. You just have to get involved and just start kind of doing the reply or whatever. So, but recently not.
Oh.
I wouldn't know any Partridge quotes.
Oh, well.
It's a British institution, though. It is
the best thing about Coogan is he's got this kind of interesting music on the side, and he must know some musicians pretty well. In fact, I know some bands that he's hung around with, and he knows enough about it to have muso gags in what he's doing. Like, there's a bit where he does in Alan Partridge. He's staying in this in the first series. He's staying in this service hotel, which again to musicians that's hilarious because we've all done it, travel lodges or whatever, and it kind of gross places. But he's having to stay there, whatever, and they've got a night on in the canteen or something where it's like Valentine's night, and he gets up and sings to this woman. He tried to sing "Why Do Birds Suddenly Appear," but the guy gets it in the wrong key, and he manages to sing it out of tune three times. But you can only do that if you're like actually talented as a musician. Why do birds? Guys, bring it down tone. But it's just full of gags like that. Like they always resonate with musicians, I think.
I know a lot of musos will. There's a lot of pictures on Instagram. I see a lot of these different people I know that are big Partridge fans. And then the next series that Coogan did after Partridge was one called Saxondale, which didn't get as famous, but he's a roadie in that, and he's a guy who roadied for like Deep Purple, lifts off loads of names, and everyone always goes to him, "Oh, did you do Led Zeppelin?" He goes, "No." It's like. Obviously, there's loads of muso jokes in that as well, like in that whole thing about him being kind of this kind of tragic ex-roadie who's kind of settled into suburbia but still trying to keep his edge. So me and Tim will check it out.
Yeah, for sure. You need to get in it. I've been watching League of Gentlemen again recently. Like getting back on that, scaring the shit out of my girlfriend with it.
I haven't been.
You haven't done League of Gentlemen either.
I don't watch a lot of telly. I'm rubbish at film. I
don't watch a lot of telly, but these are kind of
telly and films. I am so uncultured at films. You tried to make me watch Godfather. He's saying it's the best film ever. Go and watch it.
You've never seen Godfather?
I put it on in here and I fell asleep during it.
You did.
I literally did.
I felt like dragging him out.
I think a lot of the stuff like that is because a lot of films nowadays are like the reason why that's such a classic is because that is the foundation for so much of a category of cinema that's got all of the techniques that at that time of that film coming out were like
new.
That looks amazing.
Also, it's very slow.
It is really slow.
That's what you enjoy about it. It's
the
like
point,
it's like an old album. Like an old album is written. I was talking to someone about it the other day. Because we were buying some vinyls, some records, and we're saying like an album. The idea of it was you're going to take 60 minutes, 50 minutes, 60 minutes,
to it all the way
listen
through.
to it, or you're going to turn it over in the middle, and that's how it's designed, and that's just how long it's going to take.
There's always
a
single version and an album version.
But obviously, then now music is a thing of like it's an advert, it's a 20-second loop, and if it's not there in the 20 seconds, people don't. That's just kind of how modern thing. So I understand why you found that difficult because you're young. I'm not trying to patronise or anything, but like taking that time to like that sort of film reminds me of like when I was younger, like my dad had put on a western and it'd be on like kind of all afternoon, like Magnificent Seven or something like that, and it's kind of the thing that it was always there, always kind of going on in the background.
But I knew that when I sat down and watched it, and I was still like, right, this is a classic and I'm supposed to take this for what it was. And I think it must have just been, I don't know, one of those days where I like my nap, but I was just
should have got baked.
Then I would have.
I remember I watched. Have you ever watched the modern remake of The Lone Ranger that Johnny Depp did?
No.
Across the board, everybody reviews it as a terrible film, but if you get baked and watch it, it's actually quite enjoyable. You put aside the kind of crapness of it, like the kind of shittiness of it, the kind of mild racism of the fact that it's a white guy playing in Native American.
Yeah, dude. I assume that seems to be that would be the thing with being baked. Wouldn't that be like most films? You see the inner beauty of it.
I suppose so, maybe. But or you can just laugh at the silliness. I used to do a thing when I was younger where it'd be about like I'd find a crap film on Channel 5. Does Channel 5 still exist?
I think so.
Yeah. So I'd find a crap. They'd always have a crap film, like a cheap film.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, Lake Placid or some shit like that, or Anaconda. And the idea is you miss the first 10, 15 minutes, so you don't know the plot. And you don't give a fuck about the plot. And then you can just enjoy it for being as daft as it is. Because when you're invested in the plot in a film, you're concentrating on the characters and what they're doing in the story. So you've got that, and it distracts you from the crapness of the kind of mise-en-scène or the effects or anything like that. So that used to be my favourite thing to do, just watch a film but miss the first 10 minutes. Sometimes miss the last 10 minutes as well.
Yeah.
So you really have no idea. And you make your own version of the story.
I saw a thing on like a YouTube or like a clickbait or something where there was a video that someone said that, and they proved it by doing a number of classic films. Like in the opening scene, you can tell the plot. Like that's how the film will work.
All the strands of everything that's going to happen.
Yeah. The first like 30 seconds or something of every film, if it's a good one, you will know exactly what the film's about. And they did that with a couple. I can't even remember what they did, but stuff like A Space Odyssey and stuff like that, they threw them out and said, here's why, and we can see that this and this means this, and then they just said the whole film just from like A Space Odyssey, which I think the start is just zooming in on like planet Earth.
Yeah.
Really?
I've never made it through Space Odyssey. I need to do that, because apparently it's absolute genius, and all the kind of, I like that stuff where you go on the internet and you start delving into the backstory and all that sort of thing. Like I do like concept albums for the same reason. Like that's one of the reasons I love Mastodon. Like if you go on, they did an album called Crack the Sky, and it's all about Rasputin and some weird. Anyway, you can go in and read all the lyrics and figure out what it is you're talking about. But with films like The Matrix, go and reading all the lore about that, like all the kind of theories and stuff. It's great. But yeah, it's a thing where I think you have a responsibility to get some classics. It's like with literature, isn't it? Like people say you need to read the classics. At some point I might do that, but with films I can definitely get on board with doing it with films.
Yeah, but I know what people are saying. You've missed out a big part of life of being a human being if you haven't read Jane Eyre or something. I'm like,
yeah, she can go fuck herself for all I care. I don't know that bitch nothing, but I don't know Jane Eyre. I'm sure she's very nice. I think one of my friends knew it, but no, Jane Eyre isn't alive anymore. It's my friend knows.
I thought that was a book title. I didn't think
I'm pretty sure it is.
Oh,
I thought it was like a Dickens book or something like that.
There's a woman with a name like that my mate knows. Chris Aspin, who's on the last podcast, knows somebody. I think it's a woman from Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman or something.
I was going to say.
She's got a name like that.
She was just like, yeah, my mate knows Lady Macbeth. Yeah, mate.
We were on this last night, and this girl was talking about how she knows Valerie from the song Valerie.
She knows the girl Valerie.
Person.
Yeah. Huh? As in, like, I just thought that was hilarious. This girl's going,
right. She was probably saying, yeah, she was Amy Winehouse's mate.
yeah, there you go.
Wasn't even an Amy Winehouse song, was it?
No, Zootons.
The Zootons version is actually a lot better.
Which I really like. Yeah, no one ever plays. But it's a cool tune.
The Ronnie thing, it's a shame I didn't go the other night, because I could have got us all in for free, and I could have got us all a free round of drinks.
Oh yeah, because you got that bouncer
on the sesh. Yeah.
Are we allowed to talk about that?
Yeah, we can talk about it. Yeah.
He was a bloody prick.
Well, no, Ronnie's dealt with him really well, because I don't know if anybody else had ever contacted them, but I contacted them and they were like, right, really sorry about that. You won't have to, this won't be a problem next time you come. And I don't know if he got sacked or cycled on to another door. Whether he's, I don't know. I imagine it's a security company, and he said we don't want him on our door anymore. I imagine it's maybe something like that happened. I wouldn't want the guy to lose his job, but he must have lost thousands of pounds for the club and for the musicians who run the nights there, because what he was doing, this bouncer at Ronnie's, who a lot of musicians know, he was turning people away for no reason, saying that the night was over when the night goes on till 2:30, 3 o'clock, or full. Basically, as far as we can understand it, to be able to finish the night early so you could go home early. I think that's but I'm guessing.
Yeah, because I'd noticed that some of the Ronnie's nights, if it's quiet, they do end it earlier.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I reckon that's exactly what it was
So
doing.
we've been loads of times, and when I was stood out there with my mate Chris, he turned 10, 15 people away. And people like, there was like an old couple who brought all their friends, some Americans, and they obviously brought them specifically to come and watch this great night that they heard about at Ronnie Scott's on a Thursday, where it's
famous,
W3,
world famous.
Yeah, and this guy, he didn't just turn him away, but this old guy who looked totally mild-mannered, totally decent guy, said, after this guy dispatched him, said, "No, it's full, go away." He said, "You terrible advert for what you're doing. You know, for Ronnie Scott's. It's crazy." And as I say, to be fair to Ronnie Scott's, they have dealt with it very quickly and very well. And I was stood there because normally that bouncer would be like, "Yeah, you can't come in, it's full," and then like 3 minutes later he'd let you in. It was like a power thing of kind of keeping you stood there. But on this night, and I brought my mate Chris down, who's a professional musician, who's on the last podcast, to see this incredible band, and it would have been a brilliant night. We were going to spend money in there. We'd already had like 1 or 2 drinks and a big meal and stuff. So
Just 1 or 2?
Yeah, no, to be honest, it has. And the guy said, like, we looked at the CCTV camera and had no reason why he would turn you away. We weren't leery or anything like that. And it was just such a shame. It's such a shame. And it's so weird. But as I say, like, if he isn't on the door anymore, or he has stopped, they've told him to stop doing that, they're going to probably know that the musicians are going to end up like, oh, we're getting paid all this money all of a sudden. Where this extra money come from? The nights are going to be fuller, and the bar's going to take more money. Like, it must be thousands of pounds that he's knocked off that place
over the course of it. Yeah, because that guy's definitely been there a long time. I don't know if it directly. I don't know how
I think
none
the
of us
door
have done
take,
it, but I don't know if it directly affects the musician's pay or not. But I don't know.
Yeah, the door take is what pays him band.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's right.
So
okay.
Think about that. Right, 6-8 quid a head.
Yeah.
He's turned. I was there when he turned 10, 15 people away.
Yeah.
So that's 100 quid.
Normally, like one of the band members' fees or something, or at least. Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's ridiculous. Anyway, so Ronnie's were very kind about it and said,
yeah, no discredit to Ronnie's at all. Of course, they did their thing, but.
What are you laughing at? Yeah, I was trying to reach this. It's empty anyway. Tim, go and get some more beer. Come on, man.
Yeah.
It's your job, mate.
Come on, mate. But yeah, it's like I would never wish anybody to lose their job or anything like that. But I had to complain about it because it was like, this is ridiculous. And I know not millions, but every musician in London's had a problem with that guy, and everybody knew. I didn't know his name, I didn't know his number, and everybody knew who it was straight away. So
that's the thing. I knew it was crap, and I thought the guy was just being a bit of a dick. I didn't think about it from the perspective of like that. It is just he's being so conceited and thanks, mate. That it and that it is literally just because he knows that if he does it a lot, then. Like, he'll get to go home early. I didn't even think about it like that. I just thought it was just, like, as you said, like a bit of a weird power thing or something like that. Or
well, that's what it always seemed like, but now it seems to make sense. Anyway, Ronnie's a great place, and it puts on some fantastic nights. It's a great place for musicians, and that's kind of what I said in the email. Like, it's a shame that a place that we all love going to, like, it's literally like a kind of mecca for musicians in London. That you have, because it started to get to a point where you're like, oh, I have to deal with that guy on the door again. I started to think about that. So.
I realised last night it's a lot better when you're drunk.
Ronnie's, yeah, because a lot of time, sometimes I'm driving, so I don't get to have a drink. But yeah,
no, we all, no one drove last night.
Yeah, it's great.
Most people did a Lucas. Lucas still did a Lucas.
Yeah. What was it you were saying? You had a Whitney Houston song.
Oh yeah, I was funny now because I think I actually do know it, but I was just drunk, so I don't know it. All of a sudden there's a chord track in front of me and I'm smashed. I was like, oh fuck.
Trying to read it. But he played it and he got a gig at the end.
Yeah, some guy comes to me like, quit playing, mate. I'm like, sure, mate.
So basically, what you're saying is you got up to do a song that you thought you didn't know came up. Lucas put a chart in front of you. You couldn't read it but got through it. Yeah. Someone offered you
the phone was literally blurry and I was like, oh my god.
Because you were so smashed.
Yeah.
At the end of it, somebody offered you a gig. In fact, Lucas offered you a gig.
Oh, that was this morning, yeah.
And someone else offered you a gig as well.
Yeah.
And now you realise that you did know the song in the first place anyway.
I was going to say, because
I think you've been taking people for a ride.
That's it. I was listening to it last night and I thought you were great. I thought you were fine. I thought
there was definitely a few missed calls there, but I think I got through it.
Dude, passing notes, passing like reals,
yeah, exactly,
subs.
exactly. Flat nines,
all about it.
Yeah, I love them.
But going back to Chris coming down last week and doing the podcast, he well enjoyed. It's a shame he wasn't here because he was obviously he's up in Yorkshire and he's doing the stuff that he's doing, but he really. Like, I could tell that he really enjoyed being here and meeting people, and it would have been great if he could have gone to like a ruse night at Ronnie's.
Yeah, man.
He would have been in his element. He loves all this. He's got family and kids, which is great, and he loves that, and he's got business and stuff up north. But he's a great player, and there's definitely part of him that's like, oh, I wish I could dip into this scene and dip in and out, just to kind of watch it or learn from it. So I've had to send him a list of tunes that he should learn.
Yeah. Get him down.
He wants to have an idea about how to approach certain chord progressions and stuff like this.
Cool.
But he's going to come down again. It's funny, he's got this thing about when somebody's shredding, he says it sounds like construction work. Like, so he sent me a message the other day. He said, "Jim, are you about? I've got my riggers on.
Yeah.
I'm down at the work site. You want to have a Skype? I've got my riggers on."
Nice. No, he sounds like a funny bloke. I haven't managed to watch all of the podcasts, but what I've seen is he's a funny bloke. So watch it. Yeah.
So is there not like any kind of jams or like that kind of thing up north? Is that not a thing?
Not really. There's pubs that do kind of open mics,
right?
But the thing about London is it's such a concentrated pool collection of musicians. And not only is it obviously there are talented musicians in the rest of the country, but I think the thing with London and the gravity of it is that you have not just talented musicians, but musicians that are really striving to improve and meet people. And so when you get to these jam nights, so we've all been to jam nights that are a bit lean or a bit quiet or whatever, but in general, it's just such a kind of... You're right there, Tim.
Yeah, sorry, mate.
Keeping you up, mate. Yeah.
Maybe you need to go and throw up or something. But I think the thing about London is it just... These sorts of jams like Ronnie's and stuff like that, or when we've been to Chiro's or the Wardour Street stuff and all that, no other place can compete because it just doesn't attract people from such a big area as what London does. And then for someone like Chris who doesn't see that, and he does what he does, so he doesn't see any of the bass players. So when he's jamming with you and Jason Tebble, he was loving that. Like, he's like, dude, those guys, they're sick, and like their approach, and I don't really understand some of the stuff that they're doing and all that. So I don't think he's been a bit modest when he says some of that stuff.
But he's like that knows ways around a bass for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But so some of the more fusiony or kind of jazzy ideas or chord progressions or reharms and stuff like that, doesn't know. He's not. That's not as much his world. Yeah. And we kind of get bits of things where we kind of do that naturally because of people that we've watched or tunes that we've learned that have got it in. So yeah, he loved it, and he's going to come down. We also took him to Dishoom as well, which he loved.
It's great.
Yeah, we had £100. It cost us £100, I think, that meal.
Oh, bloody hell. It's got a lot of
about 60 quid of it was them Kingfisher.
I was going to say,
it's so good.
Because the food's not that expensive, but the beers, whew.
Yeah, but those big bowls are great. Yeah,
but they know though, they know you can't do that without drinking a beer. You can't. Just,
but you could do it just a pint.
Curry.
You could just get a normal sized pint, but you've got to get like the big.
But then you still end up having like 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, true.
Not to kind of seem all high and mighty, but I went to Ottolenghi's last night.
What's that?
Have you done that? It's some TV chef. I think he's a Jewish guy, and check your list.
my list of Jews. Just got a list of a phone holder.
It's like an app, isn't it?
Yeah. Go on to Jew Google. Google. Go on to Google.
You know there's a Jewish Tinder.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Not called Jinder.
J swipe.
Oh, actually, yeah. When you match, it says Mazel Tov for the chair. Yeah.
I'm not on it. Don't worry.
Well, there we go. Anyway, it's all like it's kind of tapas style, little plates. Each little plate's like 12 quid, something like that. And it's all like, the idea is like throwing crazy amounts of flavors in one place. So like we got like an aubergine thing, but it's about 5 things going off on this aubergine, really tiny. So you got like 2 small plates, 3 large plates, got a bottle of wine, got treated because it was like a birthday present sort of thing. Walked out of it, was like quite near Brick Lane. Thought I could just do with like a salt beef bagel now.
Those bagels are great.
But the weird thing about food like that is anyway, as soon as I got anywhere near, I was like, the richness of, even though it's small amounts, it's very delicate. The richness of it, you kind of, oh no, I am full actually. I didn't realise that. I remember the first time I ever got like a filet steak. I was like, looked at it on the plate. It's like tiny kind of steak, kind of the size of I don't know, circumference of a kind of tennis ball or smaller. And a couple of new potatoes and a couple of bits of asparagus. And I was like, what the fuck? I've just paid like loads of money for this. I'm starving, and I could hardly finish it because it was that rich. So.
I did a like a tasting thing at a restaurant in Abu Dhabi, and it was like a meat selection.
Yeah.
So it was like 20 cuts of meat that they come and just give this huge leg of lamb, and they go this, and they just got this cleaver and this huge knife. They just
there's a restaurant like that in Mill Hill.
Do a tiny little bit out, and you're just like, next. You don't realise after 10 in, you're like,
stuffed.
Okay, boss.
There's a restaurant like that in Mill Hill.
Yes, more lamb. Yes,
always more lamb.
Yeah.
Pay 25 quid, you get in, and they just keep coming around all you can eat, just like slicing off. You just sit on the end of it. Like, oh.
They're pretty good, those things, because the all you can eat things will work. Because there aren't a lot of people that would eat more than the amount you pay for an all you can eat. Value, so they probably make a load of money.
I don't know.
Like
there's
that.
a place in Doncaster near where I used to live.
Just rinses it.
Yeah, everybody comes in on
Tupperware.
Yeah, tracky bottoms. Yeah, tracky bottoms, loose pants.
Yeah, ready to go.
Yeah,
loose fitting.
It's like one of those. I forgot what it's called now. It's like one of those like kind of high street all you can eat, and you think, oh, that looks quite good from the out, but. The problem with them buffet places, it's like there's like Italian, there's Japanese, there's Indian and all that. You end up with just a mishmash of nonsense on your plate. And you stuff your face, and you never really had a meal. You're kind of just picking up bits. You never really actually got there. But you just get some people who are just like, right, I'm here. I think they've got time limit on you as well. Like, there's people who pull up and have got like books to read or newspapers. Or
I want to go to one of the sort of Chinese or Indian places that have bring your own booze.
Oh yeah. There's one around here actually.
Yeah.
Italian around
There's
here.
one in Sheffield called Mangler. Top note. Yeah, it's a greasy spoon
I'll
one,
go.
but it's great. Yeah, we should drive up for that.
Drive up for the Mangler.
Yeah. So, right, okay, going back to music. The tour then, what was the preparation for the tour with Albert Lee? What happened? You had how many rehearsals? What was the...
So the way it all kind of roped in was that he's had a US band for about 4 or 5 years. It's the first time he's ever put his own band together. So he's just been playing for other people or asked to play in other bands and stuff like that. It's his first time he's gone, right, my band, my rules. Yeah. They've been going for about 4 or 5 years. And just before New Year, the US drummer, there's a killing drummer, a guy called Jason Smith. He quit. He's got young kids over there and I think he's still going to do bits and bobs with him over in the US, but is not doing the big long away from home stuff, which is fair enough. So I got a call literally on New Year's Eve from someone just saying there's a chance that something, this was all in the pipeline, they weren't sure yet, but are you free? I got your name from ... and I just
it was actually a fixer, not just someone random, just like, hello, is that Ollie Sears?
Are
you free on this day? I've heard Albert Lee may be looking for a drummer. Expect a call.
When the first text came through, it went hi, and it didn't mention how he got my number or name at all, and I just thought that was just crap. That was absolute bollocks. But no, the guy called me and said, I've got your name from a guy I did 2 gigs with in like November, who was awesome, and it was great and really nice of him to recommend me. So yeah, they sent like a live album through and said, just kind of get to know this, start getting to grips with it, and This was at the time when I was like proper bolted up with my little finger, and I wasn't able to do any kind of real practice or anything, but it was just about getting it in my head. And then I found out for definite kind of about the start of February. So it was officially like 4 weeks of going, you've got to do this is actually what's going on. They didn't send me a proper set list, they just said it would generally be these sort of songs, but there might be a couple of extras, so do more homework. So I was doing more and learning other songs that I knew I wasn't going to play, but just in case.
Oh, really? So you just basically just like anything come up from his back catalogue?
Yeah, just because he could turn around at a gig and go, we're going to do this, and it could, all right, and worked out, because they've been playing the same sort of songs for quite a while, and I mean, he's actually been playing those songs for like 30 years, but like on and off in different. So, yeah, it was literally on the start of March. As the week started, they all flew in on the Monday, got themselves settled. On Tuesday, I drove down and we did an afternoon rehearsal in like a town hall. It sounded, it was pretty big and boomy and old, but went through the set once, and then they went, all right, cool. And the first gig was the next day.
Yeah, so one rehearsal in the town hall. It's been
yeah.
So how scary was the first gig?
It actually was one of the biggest crowds, so it was bloody terrifying. But I think it's one of those things where, like, the actual stuff, like, no discredit, the actual stuff to play is quite simple. But that's because, you're playing for someone who is.
Well, you're just the accompaniment.
Thing. Exactly. Our job is just to be solid and simple and steady, which is good because that's all I've got.
But what I was most impressive about when I was, it was perfectly there, all the accents in the right place, so you were accentuating what Albert was doing, and I felt a bit like you were leading it as well, which would make sense from the drums, but that's big responsibility for somebody who's just joined the band. Someone's a lot younger than the other guys. They're all at least just twice your age.
Yeah.
And doing BVs as well, and you nailed the BVs. Absolutely nailed the BVs.
Thank you. Yeah,
that's always been one of your strongest suits, I think. Like, the feel of what you do is fantastic. Like, my dad, he's heard loads of drummers throughout the years, and he said that you reminded, feel-wise, him of his favourite drummer that he played with in his kind of rock and roll band sort of thing.
Oh, wow. Thank you. That's very kind.
And then obviously you nailed the BVs as well. It was altogether very impressive.
Thanks, man. Awesome. To be fair, like, the way they were talking about it, the BVs were actually... They were like a prerequisite because that's what the other drummer did, and he was the only one. The other guys, they do them, but not as much. Like, he did everything that you could noticeably hear, and all the like the Everly Brothers stuff. And things like
exactly, you're singing Everly Brothers part.
Yeah, it's pretty high.
That's very high and complicated and stuff like that.
I mean, not for a 13-year-old girl like me, it was kind of. The guy that organised the tour in the UK, a guy called Dave, he sort of mentioned him and said, "Can you do them? Yeah, can you do them? Yeah, you're really getting it's like League of Gentlemen. Yeah. Okay, it's one of the only League of Gentlemen things I know." And sort of didn't really mention them that much. He just went, "How you doing with them?
The BVs.
Yeah, but. I thought, oh yeah, I'll learn them, but it turns out that was kind of
a featured thing,
a big featured thing, and I learned them because I thought over prepare.
Always be the guy who does the most homework.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you're Alex Lanyon and you see the Matrix, you hear the Matrix.
yeah, and he's just, what's that? Oh yeah, fine. But and I showed up, and it was kind of. Oh, I'm realising I'm doing all of them, and they were all like, wow, that's great, and I didn't realise it was such a big part, so a lot of the nerves of that weren't really there as much, which wasn't too bad. And with the actual playing, as I say quite a bit about drums, I feel like I'm quite biased because they're my instrument, but I feel like drums are like the easiest instrument once you get to grips with the first idea of separating your limbs of movement. A lot of the music is very, very similar.
Bish, bash and bosh.
There's just all, especially, well, within the kind of music that you play and earn a lot of money from. Not a lot of money, but shut up. Backbeat kind of stuff, and but there's the most responsibility on it because it's the most
if that goes,
obvious sound. You can kind of tell. It's the first thing you tell when there's a kind of average kind of guy, and it's the first thing you know when there's a mistake. You can spot it. Other than a singer,
the feel's got to be there. It's got to have the right kind of the groove and this kind of swing to it, or whatever the thing's happening. That you can play. Two drummers can play the same beat and get it accurate, but one guy sound fantastic and the other guy kind of sound or feel a bit difficult to play.
Absolutely, and it's really hard to ask to pinpoint where that comes from and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, it's very hard to put a finger on what the essence of that is. By the way, we're gonna have to wrap this up because Simone's here and we need to go and get her, and also we should get some pizza from downstairs as well. Anyway, so that's our
Definitely.
catch-up podcast. We're going to release another one with Simone. We're just going about to film another one with Simone now. So, yeah, cool. Check out the next podcast as well.
Do it.
Or don't.
Can we end on that? Fade that on, or don't.
A Kind of About Music podcast.